Mr. Future is a public affairs analyst. Mr. Future, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
It's really nice to have you. I mean, the fact that you made it today despite all odds. I mean, it's nice.
It's nice to be.
Now on to the stories. The Adamawa State Police Command has arrested 3 suspected kidnappers over the abduction of Alhaji Amadu in Malabu, Fufore local government area. The suspects were captured during an intelligence-led raid carried out by the police operatives in collaboration with local security stakeholders. The victim was kidnapped on January 30th, 2026, prompting a coordinated operation at the hideout in Jera village. Police identified the suspect as Lawali Haruna Yahaya Ibrahim and Da'u Alhaji Amadu. In a shocking twist, one of the suspects is the biological son of the kidnapped victim. All 3 suspects have been reportedly confessed, while police says efforts are ongoing to rescue the victim unharmed and arrest other members of the gang. Mr. Future. Future is your first name, right?
Sure.
Okay. We have a situation where a son is the mastermind, the brain behind the father's abduction, who kidnaps their own father. What do you make of this report?
In our society today, when we hear of kidnapping, it's almost a common thing. But it becomes more sensitive when a family member could orchestrate the kidnap of his family or family member, maybe the father. A lot of questions will call to mind. One of the questions we can ask is, what manner of relationship exists between the father and the son? Very, very important, because it is so wide to imagine that a son who should be protective of the family,
I mean,
a son who should even go out, get something and come back and enjoy with family members,
and defend the family,
turn around to plan and kidnap his common. Even though we have heard similar stories where a family member plans, takes a member into ransom or something, but it is not always common. Then, in this case, you traumatize the entire family. The family will lose a lot of money because they will have to sell some properties or even borrow to rescue their father. At the end of the day, you sit relaxed, sharing the losses of your family members with outsiders.
Oh my God.
In this case, everyone will ask, what must have gone wrong somewhere? Then I also think that I can remember Borno State, Yobe State, and Adamawa State. These 3 states have been on the news for these wrong reasons of banditry, terrorism, and kidnapping cases. Even though we know it is a common thing all over the society. But these places we mentioned are more, we hear more of these issues. Then even in that Adamawa State, we have IDP camps, people who have been displaced because of banditry, kidnapping and all of that. But at the same time, we want to see, or we want to ask, since it is uncommon for a family member to kidnap, what must have gone wrong? I am thinking of something anyway.
Tell me.
You know, in societies or within the northern side,
Yes.
their religion permits and culture permits to, one can take more wives. Even though we can see something similar in the southern part of Nigeria, but it's more common in the northern part of Nigeria.
Okay.
There are situations where a particular family will feel
Neglected. Okay.
There are also issues of, it might be real, it might not be real, but sentiments grow in such families, especially when it's polygamous.
Okay.
So when a family member or a wife feels more important than others, or when one feels inferior to others, this particular sentiment may be passed on to the children coming from a particular family. In that case, children grow developing hatred to their father or other family members. So we don't know exactly what must have gone wrong.
Oh my God. this perspective, it's an eye-opener. I didn't think of it this way. Thank you for looking at this report from the perspective you just did. But then, even if, let's assume that that is even the case, should it still justify the boy's crime? That you feel your father is not living up to his responsibility towards you and probably your siblings and your mother and whatever. Angle. But then who do we hold responsible, and what can we do differently to stop this kind of situations from reoccurring?
Good. Like you mentioned, it is a system. It is now a pattern in our society. When we say insecurity, it has no limit. It can go to different angles. Any person can be a victim. And there is no one that can justify any act of terrorism. No one can do that. No matter the sentiments you have in your family, no matter the issues, the crisis, there are family crises, we know, but none of this can justify this cruelty to a fellow family member. No, no one can do that.
Okay.
Then, I am looking at the Nigerian society because you asked what could be the measures to reduce the rate of crime or to curb them. I won't say it is lack of reforms in our security structure.
Okay.
If I say that, I will not be truthful to myself.
Okay.
Because there are ideas and ideas. In fact, if you sample opinion, you will see that even non-expert can give you clues of what to do to capture or to reduce crime in our society. But I rather blame the political will of the leaders we have in our country. For example, time without number, certain lawmakers have moved motion for state policing.
Okay.
But until this day, nothing has been done to adopt or to go towards that direction to reform our institutions, especially when it comes to security.
Okay.
But every common man should understand that when it comes to security, people who live in an immediate environment will have more information than people who are coming from the center.
Okay, so in a way, are you trying to say that, sorry, we seem to be digressing, let's just do that. You mentioned the state's policing. Do you think that would have been a solution to some of the crimes we are recording?
Sure.
Do you not also look at the negative sides of the state's policing, or does it not have?
It has, and I know what the leaders fear. In that report, you could hear that sources or intelligence reports revealed that these people are somewhere and then they were arrested. What is the source of the intelligence? It is the locals, the people who live around the environment. They provide every necessary information. Now, these 3 persons have been apprehended and they are now looking for or searching for the rest of them. We only pray that the man should be released so that he can come back alive. Because when things like this happen, a terrorist may decide to end his life and then flee. Then let's come back to intelligence report. The locals supplied the information that led to the arrest of these individuals. Do you think that if the security of that environment is allowed to be handled by some expert from that locality, things will not get better? I think so.
Wow, maybe I will have to agree with you too.
Side, which our leaders fear is that when it comes to electioneering or their political season or growth, they fear that the state governor or whoever around may hijack the state apparatus when it comes to security so that to deliver himself into the election. We know, we understand this is a fact. But ordinarily, when you allow people to participate in securing their environment, things get better.
Okay. All right. Let's go on to the next report. Thank you for that great
you.
analysis. Thank you for looking at it from that perspective. It made so much sense. And now, the Nigeria Immigration Service has arrested a suspected human trafficker and rescued 6 young Nigerian women during a border operation along the Seme-Badagry corridor in Lagos State. The suspect, 24-year-old Victor Jennifer from Benue State, was allegedly attempting to move the women aged between 20 and 23 across the border without valid travel documents. The operation was carried out by the Lagos State Border Patrol Command in collaboration with other security agencies as part of intensified efforts to combat human trafficking and irregular migration along the busy Seme border route. Authorities say the corridor remains a hotspot for cross-border crimes. Immigration officials have transferred the suspect and the rescued women to Abuja for further investigation. The service says the suspect will be prosecuted according to the law, reaffirming its zero tolerance, on human trafficking and its commitment to protecting vulnerable Nigerians. What do you make of this story generally? You know, a lot of times we see Nigerians trying to, first of all, let me state the fact that I see this form of trafficking to be a kind of consensual arrangement.
Sure, because none is underage.
None is underage. 20, 25-year-old knows what they already want. They are full adults. It's just that they were trying to do this through an illegal means. Okay? So we now have a situation where we have Nigerians always trying and wanting to leave the country, not minding what it takes, not minding the means. So the question now is, what are the factors that are actually driving these Nigerian youths to take such dangerous risks?
Well, there are certain social ideologies that are predominant in certain societies. The quest to make it in time, unquote, the desire to feel among is one factor that has dealt with the youth population of Nigeria. You see that systemically, subconsciously, people become or allow themselves to be under pressure just for public display. They just want to feel among. Everybody wants to show people as at that age, 20, 21, 24. Normally, this person should be a student, studying so hard in any of the tertiary institutions. If opportunities didn't allow you to go into tertiary institutions, this person should be an apprentice somewhere, trying to acquire a skill that will ensure he is financially independent to the rest of his life.
Okay.
At the same time, this is the same set of people that want to make money by all means. Anyway, if I want to travel out of Nigeria, just like we think, or how most people think that when they go out, they make more money.
Is that even true? And can I ask you, have you ever planned, wished, desired to also leave the country at a point?
I have not made any attempt to leave Nigeria. And that doesn't mean that I cannot make that attempt later in my life.
If you have the opportunity to leave, would you?
I will leave, but before I leave, first, where are you going to? How do you move? What will you do when you get there? Because it will be so disastrous for you to plan moving out of Nigeria illegally, because there is a connection between the way you left and what you will do when you get there.
I mean, and you know, most of the cases, these people who live illegally, if you check, they do not even have any form of certification.
Good.
They do not have any skills. They just live like that. And the question remains, what are you going there to do?
So at the end of the day, you discover that this set of girls might be used for prostitution. Now, I want to also look at where they are coming from. Someone that is leading them is 24 years old. To me, this person is young, though an adult, but this person is so young to be the master planner of everything.
Of this whole thing.
So there are directors, there are the recruiters.
And probably she is just playing the role of the middleman, the tool, an agent.
So, well, I like the fact that these persons have been taken to the NDLA headquarters. Let thorough investigation be carried out. Let them fish out those who recruit these young people. Arrest them. Let them face the law. At least we are sure that they were living illegally. So there is a ground to legally deal with them.
You know, Mr. Future, talking about these irregular means of leaving the country, you know, apart from this report, we also have it a lot of times, even people who are educated, people who actually have skills that want to travel. You see them trying to boycott. Rather than going through the legal means, they want to maneuver. Why do you think people take so much risk to leave the country through this illegal? Do you think that the system is part of the cause? Do you think that the expensive, do you think that it could be as a result of how expensive it is if you want to go through the proper way, the right channel, the legal way? I mean, do you think that could be?
Yes, that's a very good factor to consider. Leaving Nigeria will cost a lot of money, and you know, from the reports we have in the internet publicly, most Nigerians are poor. Most Nigerians can't even afford 3 square meals a day. So the only way to survive is to move out of Nigeria, and to move you have to spend. In fact, rationally, if you have the resources enough for you to move, it is even better to invest it in Nigeria, because you can be comfortable with that.
I mean, I was going to come to that, because you say, you just said the only way to survive is for you to move. And the question is, if everybody then moves out of the country, I mean, what happens to our own country?
A tree cannot make a forest. Let me explain further.
Okay.
You look at a country with hundreds of millions of people. How many percent are employed? Even though you want to succeed in Nigeria, do you have the resources? Do you have everything it takes to create employment for yourself? At times, you must go back to the system, the government. You must rely on the government to legalize whatever business, to supply certain elements that will ensure that you can do your business very well. But when these things are not there, when these things are like, for example, power supply.
Okay.
You can't provide power for yourself, for your business.
It's draining.
It can't. Fine. So for you to even get a generator to power a small office, you know how expensive it is. So it is not always possible to decide that you stay back and fight it and make it. So some people will prefer, if they have the means, to travel. And from what we hear, or evidence have shown that most cases when you get it, at least, even though it is a manual job, you can use it to sustain yourself. All right?
Okay.
So this is what I am looking at. Then I am also looking at the situation where people have lost interest in our society.
Oh.
People have completely lost interest in our society. You see that sometimes people will have a certain amount of money. Instead of thinking of what to invest in, only think of how to use it to travel out. So the system needs to do something. There should be a reorientation. There should be a mindset change, so that the young people will begin to see this place as their home, so that they can invest in it. And another thing is, you have good examples of people who are our leaders representing us. If you look at their record, you know that even to get to that level, they have done a lot of things that are illegal. They don't even hide it anymore. So people always think of how to corners to achieve what they want because they can cite examples of those who have done and succeeded.
Do you know some of them too?
Well, the sources online, if you search, you will see some of the people we are talking about live among us. If you search, you will see. They will point to you.
So is it allegedly or?
Allegedly, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go on.
Okay, so what I'm trying to explain is that when the society is protective of some people who do things the way they like, who cut corners, but come against the people who are less privileged because of they have less influence, it becomes a problem.
Okay.
So you can't fight what is bigger than you. Many people think of leaving
Just
Nigeria.
leave the country for
Yes.
them and run away.
You can even imagine, because I watch video clips of those who travel through the Sahara Desert to the Mediterranean
Some of
Sea.
them lose their lives.
So, one thing that baffles me is that some people made this attempt 3 times, not just once. You are en route, you discover that in the Mediterranean Sea, dead bodies are floating. Then the authorities arrest you, bring you back to Libya. You spend 2 years in jail. You are released. You go back. That shows the level of desperation.
I mean, wow, this is a serious one.
It's a serious case.
It is. Well, let's move on to the next report because we do not have all the time. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency in Edo State, working alongside the Nigerian Army, has arrested 5 suspects, including a patient medicine store owner and a supermarket operator, over alleged drug trafficking in Benin City. The suspects were apprehended during coordinated raids targeting non-drug hotspots. Recovered items include 11,297 capsules of tramadol, hundreds of diazepam and swinol tablets, codeine, cough syrup, cannabis, meth, and other controlled substances. Authorities say some of the locations raided were situated near military barracks, dismissing any notion that such areas provide cover for criminal activity. The NDLEA says the joint operation sends a strong warning to drug dealers, particularly those targeting young people. Officials have vowed to prosecute the suspects and dismantle drug networks across the state, urging members of the public to provide confidential information to support the fight against illicit drugs. I mean, what do you make of this story? Come to think of it, when did our neighborhood stores even turn into drug warehouses? How did we get to this point?
This issue is older than us. I'm very sure. I grew up in the village, where I can describe as a village or rural area. Even though I was visiting Port Harcourt, I was going back to my, I can completely explain this situation, what happens in the rural areas. I am just giving you an example of rural areas.
Okay.
And the same thing that's happening there is happening in the cities.
Okay.
Just take a look at this story. These people operate close to military barracks. This is the heart of the city. Yet, these things happen. There are pharmacies, there are hospitals that can provide adequate medical care, but you still have this set of people selling illicit drugs. So it goes a long way to show you that if it can happen in the city, then what about the rural areas where there are less presence of security agencies, or sorry, the NDLA? And I sometimes wonder, for example, let me just use a particular location, for example, Eche as a local government.
Okay.
I've traveled every village in Eche, every community, and I can tell you that the number of pharmacies, licensed pharmacies, medical facilities, good hospitals are not up to 2 or 3. And these ones are privately owned hospitals. How do the thousands of people in that environment survive? They survive through these people. Probably we call them chemist shop owners.
Okay.
These are the people we are talking about.
Yes.
Then at the same time, because there is no oversight to their activities, nobody comes to check what they are doing. So they feel free to say anything they like. So many of our youth in the communities, both here in Port Harcourt and in the rural areas, they are so free to walk into any of the shops, buy any tramadol, any one of them.
It's so disturbing. I mean, when the drug shop, popularly known as the chemist, that is supposed to sell pills that should save lives, are now the ones selling drugs that are taking the lives of the innocent people. And considering the different places that these drugs were found, even in shops where food items are sold, they still manage to hold these drugs, and then people know that these kind of things are sold there, they go there to buy. And the question now is it that some business owners are now have deliberately decided to, destroy young lives just to make profits?
Humans in general are capable of doing anything for selfish gains.
Okay.
Anywhere in every society in the world. That's why there is need for these agencies. If you allow people to do their business the way they want, everybody will do anything without considering how the other persons will be affected. So that is the reason it is needed to have these agencies, and then they should operate around and curb the excesses of these people who sell whatever they like. So if you leave people, they will think about themselves, they will think about what will benefit them, they will sell anything they want. That is human nature for you. Unless those who are trained to have conscience. But most likely, people ordinarily will go into any business. So there is need to consider every businessman as someone who is selfish.
Okay.
Yes. Once you see them that way, it will help you to oversee their activities and what they do. That is my take.
Do you know one other disturbing thing about this report? The fact that these drug hotspots operate near the military barracks, right under their nose. What do you think this says about our surveillance system? When they operate right under the noses of our military barracks. What does this have to say about our security system and our surveillance system and all that?
Without being asked, a businessman who indulges in illicit businesses or illegal businesses, you don't need to operate closer to security agents such as the military, the police. Ordinarily, there should be a fear.
Okay.
That if I can do this in other areas, I shouldn't go close to
So why is the fear not there?
It is not there because some of them might be complicit. That's my opinion. Some of them might be, who are the customers? Who are the buyers? Will you be surprised to see that some people also come from the barrack to buy?
Oh my God.
If not these military officers, some of them, what about their children?
Oh
those
my
who live
God.
around the environment. So you can't exactly exempt them from this case. One person or two, all our officers cannot be perfect. Some of them are so good. I commend them for this operation in the first place. But some of them might also be complicit. They might be patronizing these people.
Oh my God.
That's why these businesses can operate successfully within their environment. But I have more concern for those in rural areas.
Okay.
Yes, we are talking about this because it happened in the city where the eyes can see.
Okay.
There is media presence. There is these agents, they walk around. They can monitor what is happening. But what about the majority of Nigerians that live in rural areas and they are being sustained by these pharmacists? Sorry, not pharmacists, the chemists people, as we call them. Since I told you, there are fewer pharmacies, fewer medical facilities. It means that the lives of people in the rural areas depend on these people.
Amen.
So if they can sell banned drugs, what about expired drugs?
Oh my God.
What about drugs that are just manufactured in all back around Port Harcourt and within our environment?
Fake drugs.
So if they cannot be disturbed in their conscience to sell what has been banned by the government, it means that fake drugs can also be more than 50% of what they have in their shops.
Wow. This is a serious point to note, you know. I mean, so to this point now, looking at the risk that this whole thing already creates, what systematic reforms do you think is needed to completely dismantle drug supply chains in the long run?
Time without number, efforts have been made to completely ban these patent medical practitioners. But the consideration is what happens to those in rural areas. So I can't suggest that they should completely scrap their community, so to speak. Even though they claim they have regulations among the court, they register, they offer you certificate of operation, you stay, but they are not doing enough.
Okay.
At the same time, we should look at how to provide more education to these people who sell these drugs. Yes, some of them, even O-level holders, they just attach themselves to a practitioner, and then within 2-3 years, the person starts his medical shop. What if the government come up with this idea that if you are licensed to operate, they offer more training to these people?
Okay.
Because in the medical, our primary medical sector, I noticed something. It happens now that those from this area now visit churches in rural communities.
Okay.
To give them drugs. Even they carry their test kits to visit the churches, so that even the pregnant people who believe that God is the one to deliver them, so they can also be given drugs, taken care of while in their churches. I like that idea, because faith is one thing you cannot take away from people.
Okay.
So if they have assured themselves that God is the one to deliver them, not a nurse or a midwife, and they go to that place, so we follow them to that place to offer them those medical treatments. So why not do the same thing to this patent medical practitioner, where we also offer training, give them certificates to operate. So if something like that is done, it can enhance their level of.
Yes.
They will learn more about the risk involved in selling illicit drug or banned drugs. In that way, sanity will begin to come back little by little. I feel so bad when I walk through the street and see young people who are supposed to be engaged in one meaningful business or the other. They are naked because they have taken these drugs to the point that they lost their sanity.
Amen.
So it's so troubling.
This drug is really killing our youth. And I think a lot, I begin to wonder which patriotic citizen will decide to go into a business that is practically aimed at destroying the future of the youth. You are selling drugs, and you are clearly seeing the effects of these drugs on our youth, and you're still selling it, destroying the future of the youth. We really hope that those who are involved in the sales of illicit drugs, contrabands, and all that will come to realize the damages that they are causing to the society at large. Thank you so much for all of the beautiful analysis from you. Let's move to the next report. The United States Department of Homeland Security has announced plans to deport an additional 18 Nigerians listed on its worst of the worst criminal register, raising the total number of Nigerians slated for removal to 97. The update comes just 1 week after 79 Nigerians convicted of various offenses were initially marked for deportation. According to updates, DHS records the newly added individuals were convicted of crimes including wire fraud, mail fraud, and identity theft. U.S. authorities describe the action as part of a broader nationwide crackdown on criminal immigrants led by Immigration and Custom Enforcement, ICE DHS, stated that the enforcement drive aligned with President Trump's pledge to carry out mass deportations targeting what it called the worst of the worst offenders. The expanded list underscores the administration's continued hardline stance on illegal and criminal immigrants among those affected. I don't know if this report got to you the way it got to me. I mean, the perspective. You know, I started by looking at the kind of image this paints of Nigeria in other countries, you know, where we now have, prior to this time, 79 persons were already enlisted to be deported. They were included in the list that is termed the worst of the worst. Oh my God, oh my God. And now we have 18 more Nigerians added to the list. How did we get to this point? What do you make of this report?
It's so sad to see that a Nigerian is listed among worst of the worst. It's so sad. It affects our public image in the international community. Countries are doing a lot to secure their citizens, to secure their properties. Sometimes investment that should have come to Nigeria are halted because Nigerians in diaspora, some of them, not all,
are misrepresenting the country,
giving up bad names. We even have some platforms that place restrictions to transactions in Nigeria. If you go there, you see what people pass through. Just recently, PayPal was able to allow Nigerians to do business just like every other country. Just recently, no matter the number of years they have been operating. So you go to other platforms, you discover that once you put your country of origin, Nigeria, they flag it immediately. All these are stemming from
this is so
what
sad.
few individuals are doing outside. But at the same time, I wonder, you think Nigeria is not a good place? There is no law, unquote, no equality, no opportunities in Nigeria. You decide to leave for a greener pasture. In this saner climb, as you think, why not play by the rules? Why not work according to their laws? Why not be like them? Knowing that you are coming from somewhere, you run away from where you think is very bad. And now you go to a better society where you think you can make it. Then you also go there and want to turn the same society into what you ran away
What you ran away, oh my God. Oh my
that
God.
can be accepted. If we see people who are not from Nigeria in Nigeria doing the same thing, I will support that they should be deported back to their countries. No one should support that you come in and destroy what is already in good condition before you come. But I also have a concern because the president of the US, during the campaigns, we watched and we listened to him, said so much about mass deportation. Let it not be a means of removing people from the society. Let it not be just allegations. Tag them worst of the worst so that you can have reasons to send them back. If that is the case, it won't be good. But if anyone is apprehended doing the wrong thing in their society, the law should take its course. I fully support that.
Oh my God. And even as the ones out there are being tagged the worst of the worst, we still have a lot more trying to still run there.
Sure. My faith might not be your faith. But one thing that matters is who you are at home may reflect what you will be when you get to that place.
And I also think that we get this kind of reports when, people leave Nigeria. Like I said before, you see them wanting to leave the country or leaving the country, and when you check these people's profile, they do not even have any certification. They do not even have any skill. So when they go there, what are they going there to do? Sometimes they only resolve to go into crimes and all that, and then giving us this kind of reports. It's really appalling, looking at the number of persons that have been tagged to be the worst of the worst. But do you not in any way see sentiment in this whole thing, considering the person of Donald Trump, and in the first place he tagged Nigeria as a country of particular concern, and now we have 97 people in his list of the worst people and have been deported. Do you not in any way see sentiment?
Yeah, before I talk about that, I want to talk about what you mentioned, leaving your country to the other country, which is intended for survival.
Okay.
Then, in the long run, you see yourself doing the wrong thing. I am thinking of this situation where you don't have a skill, you are not educated, and you move. The same way you have nothing doing here, it's likely the same way you won't have something reasonable doing. A lot of people have criticized these migrants. They say that they only offer cheap labor. Cheap labor. They just go there, becoming gardeners, cleaners, security guards,
refuse collectors,
and all of that. But we have to understand, although it is job, if one decides to do that, let's dignify the person. You are doing something reasonable. But will that job give you what you need to take care of the bills? From light bill to water to house, even to get married, train, bring up your children the way they should be. With what you get from this cheap labor be able to sustain? Could it be the reason why some of them now begin to commit crimes to survive? Because if you are outside Nigeria, there is a high expectation from family members, from friends within the Nigeria. Calls will be coming. Send us this, send us this. And where you cannot meet up, you begin to feel that you are a failure because others are sending back to their home.
I mean, and sometimes when family members, when people leave Nigeria to other countries, way back home, we just assume that once they get there, they are already rich. They'll start making money. They've already made it.
That is the impression that has been created.
And it's so wrong.
You get there, you are okay.
And that is not even true.
It is not. It cannot be true. Money does not grow in any tree. So you must work hard before you get anything. So the problem now is when people get there,